Hi, folks. Today we're going to take a look at LIA, where he gives us an update to the Brian Fahey trial for his disorderly conduct charges. But before we start today's video, as always, a big thank you to all of my current and new channel members and subscribers. Without all of your support, I couldn't get the channel going, so I want to thank you all personally from the bottom of my heart. And a quick word from today's sponsor. Today's sponsor is Aura. It's my favorite time of year, spooky season. And what's scarier than any monster? Data thieves. This is where today's sponsor can help, Aura. Aura is an all-in-one digital security system that offers peace of mind and tons of benefits. Like 24-hour monitoring of your credit and personal information so it doesn't end up on the dark web. It also has password protection, parental controls, and can even put an end to those pesky scam calls.
Hello?
I'm calling about your car's extended warranty.
And what's worse than a Nightmare on Elm Street? Identity theft. And Aura can help put a stop to that too. Aura is offering you a free 14-day trial by using my link or scanning the QR code on the screen that you can cancel at any time. So click my link or go to aura.com/NCR and keep your personal data safe. That's aura.com/NCR or scan the QR code on the screen or click the link in the description box and start your free 14-day trial. Thank you again to Aura for sponsoring today's video, and don't forget to sign up for your free 14-day trial. Not only is it a great way to help me and the channel, but it's a great way to help keep your personal data safe. With all that being said, let's enjoy today's video.
Right behind me is the Danielson Superior Court here in the state of Connecticut. So we just got out of court, not for my criminal charges. I am still being charged with criminal trespassing and breach of the peace. The felony voyeurism charge has been dismissed. But Fahey just left the courthouse. He jumped into a car. He gave a thumbs up to Leroy Truth and others that were asking him questions. As you know, I can't speak to Fahey. He has an order of protection against me, which I find very interesting. But again, we just got out of court here. Got a lot of things to tell you about.
Well, it's not that interesting to understand why he has an order of protection on you. Sean, you are already dealing with him in a civil case for an incident that happened in 2021 and in 2022. Now, you're also forgetting to mention the fact that you did trespass onto his property. You refused to leave in a timely manner when asked to leave, and you did cause a breach of the peace on his property. Now, the reason why they have the order of protection is because clearly there's a pattern of escalation that you're willing to keep escalating by going to the man's house, even though it was clearly marked as private property. But yes, Sean, you're the victim here. Not the fact that you broke the law. You are the criminal in this matter.
Sorry, this car is almost gonna hit me. But we were in court for like an hour. Today was Brian Fahey's accelerated rehabilitation hearing. For those of you who do not know what accelerated rehabilitation is, accelerated rehabilitation in Connecticut, if you have no prior convictions, you can apply for this program. It's called AR, accelerated rehabilitation, and within a specific amount of time, if you do not get arrested again, if you complete all the programs, you're basically put on probation for a specific amount of time. And if you do it and you complete it successfully, the charge against you or charges will be dismissed and sealed.
And he got a deferment program. Okay, not a big deal. We kind of expected that. However, Sean just exposed one of his biggest lies he's been spreading about Mr. Brian Fahey. Now, to get the AR program, you have got to have no criminal record. That's what Sean just told us. However, Sean has been saying for the past few months that Brian Fahey was convicted in his 20s for selling narcotics. But if he had this prior conviction on his record, he wouldn't be eligible for the AR program. Not to mention, if he was convicted for selling narcotics like you are implying that he wouldn't be able to become a cop. He wouldn't be able to go into the police academy due to the fact that they would do a background check on this, and he would have to be honest and truthful. And if they ran his prints like they always do when he applies for a job in law enforcement or to become a cop in the first place at the police academy, they would have pulled back to his criminal conviction. So Sean just exposed one of the biggest lies he's been saying for the last 4 months.
Like it never happened. So unfortunately, that's what happened today with Brian Fahey. Make sure you guys, if you're watching this, this is news that needs to be seen by the entire world. Please hit the like button and share this video anywhere you can on social media for this update on Brian Fahey here, the former Connecticut Corrupticate State Trooper. I appreciate all the super chats. Thank you guys, and all the support and all the donations. Thank you so much. That being said, the state's attorney, who's also a Fahey, his name is John Fahey, the state's attorney for the Wyndham Judicial District. He's right here in this building behind us. He was basically Brian Fahey's attorney. He did more defending of Brian Fahey in this AR hearing than Brian Fahey's own attorney, Mr. Meade. Now, Mr. Meade, who represents Brian Fahey, is very famous here in Connecticut, Corrupticate. He represents tyrant police officers and corrupt police officers all throughout the state. So he did get himself a very good attorney, I will say that. But as far as the hearing goes, the state's attorney said some words, talked about the felony threatening charge, why it's not applicable. He just basically lied through his teeth. He's such a disingenuous public servant. And anyone else he would have charged with felony threatening, and he knows it, I know it, we all know it.
Shenanigans. Shenanigans. And we're calling shenanigans, folks, because it doesn't seem like Sean is wanting to be 100% honest with us. It sounds like he's got some sour grapes that Fahey is getting the AR program instead of, going to jail or something like that, due to the fact that, Sean was happy a couple weeks ago once they dropped the voyeurism charges. At that point, he was praising Prosecutor Fahey. But now that the prosecutor is saying that, he wants Brian Fahey to get the AR program, that he feels it would be fine, and didn't want to charge him with the threatening because it would be a harder case to prove, just like it would be with the voyeurism. But no, Sean, no. It's all about him being corrupt. This isn't just sour grapes coming from you, even though just weeks ago you were praising John Fahey, the prosecutor in this case. But what do I know? I'm just a guy who's been covering your videos and calling you out on your shenanigans and lies.
So he excused why he didn't charge the felony threatening. He basically excused Brian Fahey's behavior. All of this is just a rundown for each and every one of you watching right now. This is just a quick rundown. The entire Billy the Kidster, thank you so much. Bad boys, what you gonna do? Thank you so much, brother. Appreciate you. Appreciate all the super chats, all the love and support. So we got out of court. When we were in court, Brian Fahey was sitting right in front of me in the defendant section. The state's attorney basically defended him. Brian Fahey's own attorney really didn't say much, only that Brian Fahey regrets that the situation happened. I then was able to speak and make a formal statement in front of the judge. I stood right next to the state's attorney, John Fahey. And just for clarification, the state's attorney, John Fahey, and former Sergeant Brian Fahey apparently have no relation.
Okay.
So, I went to speak before the judge, Judge Green, I believe his name is, and the judge heard me. I will say that. Judge Green heard me. He was very thoughtful. He listened intently to everything that I had to say, and I give him credit for that. I do. Unfortunately, he did not deny the application for AR.
Vindication!
I went and talked about the prior incidents, how he has violently assaulted me 2 times prior, my entire statement. All of this has been recorded. So make sure, if you're not subscribed, we're almost at 1 million subscribers. Make sure you're subscribed and make sure you have notifications turned on, because I will be posting the entire court proceeding on my channel. So make sure you have notifications, hit the notification bell, make sure you subscribe so you don't miss it. It's definitely, you're gonna see the state's attorney defending the defendant. I mean, it's bizarre.
You know what's even more bizarre, Sean? The fact that you actually just snitched on yourself even more. You know, you did try to get the, civil trial delayed and suspended due to the fact that you had the criminal cases going on, because I think you finally realized, hey, this can actually hurt me in both trials if it goes the way I think it's going to go. Because if it goes the way for Fahey in the criminal case, that I get convicted for the trespassing, it's going to show up bad for me in the civil case. But if I suspend the civil case, this will help me out in the criminal case. Even though if you were to proceed and with the civil case, it could show that you had an escalating history with Fahey, and that history is going to show that you had intent and that you realized what your actions could lead to. But now saying that you brought up all these prior acts, they can be used against you in court, because you're saying you're going to put out this video, not to mention your testimony here as a victim in this impact statement would be a part of the transcripts and the court records.
But it is what it is. So basically, I went up there and I spoke directly to the judge. I told the judge, how would you feel as a human if somebody spat in your face and in your mouth? Would you feel that accelerated rehabilitation is justice? It's a vile and degrading act, one of the most vile and degrading acts that can be committed on another person. So what basically happened was, I kept saying all these different things about Fahey's prior conduct, his current conduct, how he wanted to kill me, how he lied to 911, saying that I threatened to kill him, how his own wife tried to stop him from going outside, and he pushed past her and went outside anyway, that he said to 911 that I'm going to, quote, shoot him right now, quote, I am going to shoot him right now to 911. And apparently that's not a threat that I heard in the moment, so...
Why, yes, normally that would be considered a threat if the average person was to say that about just the average individual. But Sean is leaving out the fact that Fahey has produced proof that there have been emails, phone calls, and letters sent to his house, his personal phone, his work phone, and his work email of people threatening him. Not to mention, there is proof that Sean's followers have made threats to public officials before. Most recently, the mayor of Melbourne, Florida. Now, Sean can say he didn't make those threats, but if his followers are making threats and Fahey feels because of Sean that his life may be in danger or his family's life may be in danger, he may speak more in a more emotional state, which would be hard for the prosecution to disprove, especially with the evidence in hand. That's part of the reason why Fahey got a protection order in the first place, is because of the previous threats from Sean's followers.
Again, I thought it was very funny. I got to speak actually 2 times in this courtroom right behind me. We're live from the courtroom if you're just joining us. We're live from Danielson, Connecticut, Superior Court here in Connecticut. We just got out of the former Sergeant Brian Fahey accelerated rehabilitation hearing. So I thought that was interesting because, like I said, the state's attorney was defending defendant Brian Fahey, and he's making all these excuses on why he couldn't charge the assault, why he couldn't charge the threatening. And he's like, I just want to clarify that. But yet I left within 2 seconds of the order to leave. That's not criminal trespassing. There weren't any signs clearly posted. But yet
You're lying.
he didn't get into the nuance of my charges. He got into the nuance of why he didn't charge Brian Fahey with particular charges. He didn't get into the nuance of a breach of the peace in a public place. And again, the judge did allow me to speak 2 different times. I had a prepared statement and then I went off the cuff on my second statement. And then the judge took a recess to think about everything. He took about a 5 to 10 minute recess. And again, I will tell you, I thought the judge was very thoughtful. I thought he was respectful. My problem isn't with the judge, because we have to understand that a judge does not bring charges against anyone. That's not the judge's role. That's the state's attorney's role. That's why State's Attorney John Fahey is a disgrace as a public servant. He is a tyrant. He is corrupt. He protects law enforcement officers, criminal law enforcement officers. He defends them.
But when he's not charging you for felony voyeurism or your cameraman, John Fahey is a great prosecutor. He's a good man. He knows what's right and what's wrong. But when he isn't doing what you want, when he's charging Fahey with disorderly conduct and not charging him with, threatening or assault, he's a tyrant, a criminal. He belongs in jail. Do you see the hypocrisy coming out of your fucking mouth there, bud? Not to mention, he can't go into the nuances of your case when he's talking about Fahey's case. It would be a conflict. It wouldn't even matter in the first place due to the fact that it's two separate cases at this point. You're just mad because you're not getting your way. You're not getting what you wanted. Grow up. Stop acting like a toddler.
And goes against what the victim wanted. I wanted the AR denied. The state's attorney said that he is in agreement with the AR. And he says, well, I would offer the same thing to Mr. Reyes. I'm going to offer, but he's not eligible. I'm going to offer the same thing to his cameraman. I wouldn't take an accelerated rehabilitation agreement because I'm innocent. I am innocent of all the charges against me.
You sure about that? You sure about that? You sure about that?
Oh, and then the state's attorney says in open court, it's not appropriate for me to discuss this right now, but Mr. Reyes' charges will be changed. So he didn't say what they're going to be changed to. I'm assuming he's doing the typical corrupt ticket playbook where, John Fahey, I know your playbook already, man. I know. And then he made a big deal about, oh, he never gave me the unedited video. You are the prosecutor. Why would I give you anything? That's not my job. That's not my role. You're prosecuting me. It's on my channel. The unedited video is on my channel.
Now, there's a couple of things we need to address here. First off, Sean, if they are going to change your charges, possibly lowering them to fines, wouldn't you want that? I mean, instead of having to possibly go to jail or get probation and be called at a moment's notice to show up for a court date or a probation hearing, you would just pay the fine and be done with it. Instead, you want to complain about that. Okay, fair enough, but you're also saying that you don't have to provide the unedited video to the prosecution. Well, you are wrong. If you decide to use the unedited video as evidence in your trial, you would be required in discovery to provide them with a copy of it.
No edits whatsoever that everybody can go and watch. So he could have watched that as well. But again, that's only showing me talking to my cameraman about be on the lookout for no trespassing signs, etc., etc. The entire incident, as you can see, from when I knocked on the door, from when I walked up the driveway till when I got off the driveway, is all unedited. The state police, in their internal affairs investigation, said that it was edited. I edited out the no trespassing signs. My cameraman had a mask and a hood on. We all know none of that is true. It's factually, there is no facts. It's factually inaccurate.
With all due respect, what the fuck are you talking about?
Right? So this is one big conspiracy against me. And if you haven't heard, Brian Fahey did lose his qualified immunity in my original lawsuit for the first two incidents where he violated my rights and assaulted me. He was denied qualified immunity in that case. He's not even going to be applying or asking for qualified immunity in this case, I would assume, because it's just so egregious. Why would he have immunity from spitting in my face and retaliating against me? It doesn't make any sense.
Well, it does make sense when you think about it due to the fact that You went to his house when he was not on the job, when he was not working, so he wouldn't need to apply for qualified immunity in this particular case. We're going to end it here, folks. Brian Fahey was sentenced to 18 months of probation on the AR program. Once completing that, an anger management class, and some court-ordered counseling, his record will be sealed and the charges will never appear on his record. Sean is butthurt due to the fact of this, and, well, let's just say we're going to expect a lot more videos of how corrupt the judge, the prosecutor, and how Fahey got a slap on the wrist on all of his charges while he is still the victim. So if you guys like this video, like, share, and subscribe. Don't forget to comment. Also, don't forget to check out my second channel, the podcast, and don't forget to sign up for your free 14-day trial of Aura. With all that being said, be well, be safe, and I will see you guys next time. And a special thank you to all members of the news team. Without all of your support, I couldn't keep the channel going. So I want to thank you all personally from the bottom of my heart. You guys mean the world to me, and I could never thank you enough.